Right? Why are you trying to think there's something wrong with you, that maybe you didn't do enough? What makes you think that God is punishing you because of the circumstances that we might be in? Paul says He is with us. He's leading us, guiding us. He has declared us perfect. We're not lacking in anything. Jesus is not judging us. I mean, if God already judged us, Paul says He has declared us righteous. Sometimes things are great and sometimes it is not, but we rejoice through it. It's not just lesson to be learned, but it's part of the walk that we have in faith, His faith. And there are times like we don't know why and we just can't go on anymore, that we could just hold on to Him. Just hold on to Him, right? And keep walking. Hello and welcome to Theology Untapped. My name is Andy. I think a psychology once said 60% of the people are going through a hard time right now. 60%. So how do they get themselves out of that? A lot of times we could complain about our situation, or we could get violent about it, or we get so depressed that we don't want to do anything. I mean, there are medications for it. Or you could meditate, like some people think. Or you could fast and pray. Go to church. Go talk to a preacher or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So you could read and learn from Nietzsche, Carl Jung, Freud, brilliant minds of the past. Or there is like thousands of books, millions of books that's been written for the last 2,000 years help us to get better. And a lot of times we end up just sitting around and dreaming about the future. Like, what if I won a lotto? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Or if I start working out and I get buffed, then maybe things will work out better. Or if I get a better job, things will get better. If you have a lot of money, maybe it'll get better. And because it's the end of the year, I'm sure many of you have a New Year's resolution. Maybe you want to change things. Maybe you want to stop smoking or drinking, or you're going to get a better job. And it's all out there, all because we're not happy today, all because we're not satisfied today. And because of the fact that we're not satisfied, we follow people that say, well, here's the reason why you're not satisfied, right? It's because you're a man, because you're a woman, it's because you're Asian, right? Or you're not tall enough, and you're not talented enough, you don't have high enough IQ. That's what even Christians are struggling with. How are we living by faith if we're struggling with the same struggles that's in the world? And we could fake it, or we could become hypocrites, or we could pray. And you go see a preacher that will say, well, you got to pray 5 times a day. You got to fast and pray. I have heard people that fast for 40 days so they could get closer to God and stuff. Why? Why is that? We're so desperate to get out of our situation, fantasizing about so many different things as if there's something wrong with us, that we can't really live by faith today. And I think it's because even as religious people, we think things are going to get better only if. We're going to get closer to God and get blessed by God only if. And in order to get to that point, you ought to be doing certain things. You ought to be praying. You ought to be going to church. You ought to be helping other people. And there's so many religious steps in order to get to that point where we are on the mountaintop. And some people have called that a mountaintop experience. I don't know if you have been to church when they have revival meetings and stuff. A lot of people say those are mountaintop experiences because there are people really crying for their sins, really crying and thanking God. They're raising their hand and they feel great. I don't know how long that lasts. But what is interesting about Jesus Christ and Paul and the teachings in the Bible, Jesus said, hey, I didn't come for the healthy. I came for the sick. As you know, God pitches His tent where the myrtle trees grow. And myrtle trees don't grow in the mountaintops. It grows in the valleys, the depth of the earth. So a lot of times when we think about having a good religious experience, we want to feel good and we want to be at a place where we're always happy. But you know, the first thing Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount is that blessed are the poor. You know, throws me off sometimes. And Jesus never said that life is going to be all great all the time. What Jesus said is, I know life is tough, but I'm with you and I'm going to be with you. I'm going to guide you through. And you know what Paul says? Because if you want to talk about suffering, probably Paul suffered like most of his life after he became a Christian. What he says is the opposite of what we want, which is rejoice when you suffer. Rejoicing through your suffering, it leads to perseverance, and then it leads to character, experience. Why are you trying your best to get out of it? Right? Why are you trying to think there's something wrong with you, that maybe you didn't do enough? What makes you think that God is punishing you because of the circumstances that we might be in? Paul says He is with us. He's leading us, guiding us. He has declared us perfect. We're not lacking in anything. Jesus is not judging us. I mean, if God already judged us, Paul says He has declared us righteous. Sometimes things are great and sometimes it is not, but we rejoice through it. It's not just a lesson to be learned, but it's part of the walk that we have in faith, His faith. And there are times like we don't know why and we just can't go on anymore, that we could just hold on to Him. Just hold on to Him, right? And keep walking. And some people have said you're going through this because you're going to learn something in the future. But I don't know. I don't know you're going to learn something. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I don't know how long it's going to take until we get out of it. We just don't know. And that's the beauty of living in the Spirit. I know that we want answers from God, and a lot of times we pray for it. All the while, Jesus saying, have faith. Just come follow me, that all things will work out for good. Bible is very clear. If you walk with the Spirit and He started something in your life, He's going to finish it. And I don't know where it's going to end up. I really don't. But that's the beauty of life. That's why Jesus said, don't worry about where it's going to lead and how it's going to go. Don't worry about the future. Right? Let's just take care of today, knowing that all things will work out for good. It's a promise of God through Jesus Christ. So once again, what is the answer to all this crazy stuff that's going on in this world, about all the things that's going on in your life? What is the answer? How can we get out of it? Once again, it's simple. Have faith. Live by faith. Live in His faith. But if you look back from the future, you're going to say, well, this is not what I planned, but it turned out much better than what I expected. Have faith. Live by faith, my friends. And God bless you. And I'll see you next time.